So where are the packages, or where is the pod?
So we have 3 crates currently in Prague, but one of them didn't make it. The awnings and the filters are actually stuck in Amsterdam right now. So we're trying to get them on a flight out tomorrow so that hopefully they make it in time to get customs cleared.
Awesome, but I mean, it'll get there with time to spare though for the show, yeah?
Hopefully.
All right, we're here in Prague. It has been a crazy weekend already. Flew in on Friday, 2 days enjoying the city. All of our equipment just showed up at the convention center today. We're going to be going there tomorrow to put together the first ever bolt together pod that Digital Shovel has sent literally across the ocean by air. I've got Singh here with me that's going to help me put it together. Nico, our solutions engineer, Nero from sales, and Alex behind the camera. The whole team is really excited to get ready for the show on Thursday. Thursday is the day where they're going to bring in a whole pile of students. They give out tickets to every university, I think for €5 or something like that for them to come to the show. And then on Friday is the big day, the industry day, where we're going to be on a panel with our friends from Barefoot Mining. Saturday is the final day. And then best of all, at the end of the show, we're going to be giving this mini pod away to one lucky attendee of the show. We're going to enjoy a little bit more of the sights before we have to get down and do some actual work. All right, we're here at BTC Prague 2024. Super excited to be part of the show for a second time ever. This show is looking amazing. They got over 6,000 tickets sold. We're going to bring in one of our Digital Shovel MiniPODs. The team's actually bolting the whole thing together. We flew it here by air, only taking about a day and a half to put the thing together, literally just with one socket wrench, using the forklift for just a couple minutes. Best of all, we're going to be giving away this pod to a lucky attendee at this show, covering transportation anywhere to them in Europe. Excited to be doing that, excited to be part of the show, excited to be in Prague. Prague has a great history of Bitcoin. You can pay your gas bill with Bitcoin here. I believe it's Alza, which is one of the major retail chains. You can pay for anything in their store with Bitcoin. One of the first ever mining pools was founded here, I believe in 2010. Huge culture around Bitcoin here, massive amount of Bitcoin ATMs, awesome city to be in, and a whole lot of fun. Let's finish setting up this booth, let's get ready for the show, and let's get ready for BTC Prague 2024. Wow, look at this transformation since just last night. I mean, you guys remember what it looked like yesterday? Look what they put up, all inside of 24 hours. All right, we're here at BTC 2024. The entire booth is ready. We've got all of our promotional crew here from a local university. Very excited for BTC 2024. We brought the Digital Shovel MiniPod in parts, flew it here by air, set it up in 2 days with just 1.5, maybe 2 people working on it, plus a forklift. Everything went really well. Our print material showed up. We're ready to do BTC 2024. Let's do this show.
Johnson. He's the founder and CEO and lead designer of Digital Shovel. I love the name of your company, Digital Shovel. And our moderator, Bob Burnett, Bitcoin miner and evangelist. Good luck.
Thank you, Efren. Now, one of the things that Bitcoin does is it does use energy. And I think that should be thought of as a feature, not a downfall. But Scott, you in your business, you work a lot with the heat. Maybe you can talk about the energy consumption and the heat and what we deal with as miners.
In terms of managing the heat?
Managing the heat,
okay. Well, yeah, so I mean, the more hashes or guesses of those random numbers that we were talking about earlier that you need to do, the more processing power you're going to require. The more processing power, just as with anything else, is going to generate more heat. And you need to do something with that heat. In our industry right now, there's 3 ways you can cool that heat. One is just through regular airflow, so moving a whole pile of air over top of a heat sink and exhausting it out the other side. The alternate would be immersion, where you actually submerge the entire device into a dielectric fluid, which is basically a liquid that doesn't conduct electricity. It's not going to short anything out. And then that fluid will take that heat and either go through a heat exchanger or into a dry cooler and exhaust that heat externally. And then the third would be through a direct-to-chip cooling, where you put a heat plate which runs a fluid through that heat plate, and instead of submersing the entire device, you're just cooling that chip. The big benefit of the latter 2 systems, which I think we're going to get into later, is ways of reusing that heat. And once you capture it in a liquid, that's significantly easier to do. However, there's massive cost differences between the 2. You could be 3, 4, 5x of what it might cost with conventional air cooling compared to cooling with direct-to-chip or immersion.
Staying on that, and Holden, you actually referred to the containers. Scott here from Digital Shovel, I think those of you in the audience can actually see one of those containers. And we were a customer of Scott's, and he builds some really great stuff. But to give you a visual, those kind of containers, you can put them basically anywhere in the world, and the energy doesn't even necessarily have to be connected to the grid. Scott, maybe you can talk a little bit about stranded energy and how we can go capture energy that would never otherwise be used.
Yes, certainly, and like he alluded to, Holden alluded to earlier, the ability to have these mobile boxes with incredibly high density of power usage and deploy them in unique situations on a semi-non-permanent basis is really unique to Bitcoin mining. There might have been other loads like that where you can generate that level of density, but there's very few, if any, industries that have the ability to curtail or turn off as quickly on demand as needed in a lot of these situations. Another really cool example of this is a lot of our clients are going after what we call stranded natural gas or associated natural gas, where you've got an oil well that is producing natural gas that is either not in abundance enough to justify a pipeline, or there's just simply no means to get a pipeline there. And in the case of Canada, where we're from, you can't flare, which I don't think you can in the EU either. But in the US, you can. You can just sit and burn this gas off into the atmosphere and light up the night sky, which is awful for the environment. A lot of our clients will use this natural gas, run it through a generator, get abundant cheap power, help the environment, help the ozone, and mine Bitcoin at the same time, which our solution, as well as others, facilitates that need.
Yeah, really, it's a major win-win when that all comes together. So if we flip a little bit to the commercial side, Scott, if somebody's out there saying, hey, I think I might want to start a business in mining, what sort of things do you think they should go through in a checklist to say, am I in a good situation to enter this world?
Cheap power, for one. A good team that's
Can you define that for people?
I guess it depends on the scale you're at. I mean, I would say larger institutional guys are generally paying in the 4 cent US dollar per kilowatt hour. Whereas on the hosting side, you can find really cheap solutions, but there's often something that comes along with that. So it might be unstable power. What I was talking about earlier with using stranded natural gas, it's great, but it's not reliable, stable power. You might end up with only 80% uptime, which is going to cut into your bottom line. And even if you're saving 1 or 2 cents a kilowatt hour, if you have brand new equipment, you'd rather be up all the time. Or on the flip side, going to somewhere where, yeah, again, the power is cheap, but you got geopolitical risks. Like a lot of people were going down to Paraguay and Uruguay, and we've seen recently piles of hosting companies that had all their miners seized. So on that note, for hosting, generally in the 7 to 8.5, maybe depending on the solution they're providing, if they're including repair services and stuff like that, the 9 cent range. Another thing you really want to be careful of is safety and making sure that the equipment that your miners are being put into are installed in a safe and licensed and insured fashion, not using equipment that might be cheaper but puts either somebody's life at risk or your equipment at risk as well.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, analysts.
I'm here with Bob Burnett, Barefoot Mining, longtime customer of ours here at Digital Shovel. How's your day going, Bob?
I'm doing great, Scott. Great to spend time with you here in Prague.
Yeah, it's been a blast. We had dinner the other night, and then we were just on an amazing panel. Tell me a little bit about how the journey's been working with Digital Shovel from some of our earlier generations till now, and yeah, just tell me a little bit about that.
Sure.
experience.
One of the things that we've noticed about the Digital Shovel team that I've told you that we really appreciate is that at first there were some bumps in the road, but you guys have done a phenomenal job of changing the way your customer service worked, your responsiveness levels, and that's why we made a decision not too long ago to buy a significant number, at least by our standards, of more product from you.
The environments that you're using them in, is it a wide range, or where are most of your operations?
Most of what we've done is in South Dakota. So we're in that kind of upper Midwest area, which means we're dealing with Fahrenheit, we're dealing with 20 below and 110 Fahrenheit temperatures. The products have performed very, very well across that. We're just right now dealing, the latest project that we did with you, which was a 2 megawatt installation, so we used eight of these boys. We're just kind of seeing our first indications of how they perform in the higher temperatures, because we put them up in the winter, but they did great through the whole winter, and now we're starting to stress them in the summer.
This is some of the newer generation stuff where we've moved to a new awning design as well. I believe you have the direct drive fans on those units too, which makes a substantial difference during really high temperatures.
Yeah.
Well, Bob, thanks so much for making time.
All right.
It's been
Thank
an
you,
absolute
Scott.
pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm here with Jimmy Song. Pleasure to meet you. Well, like we were saying before this, we've crossed paths a bunch, but never actually sat down and met in person. How's the show going for you?
Well, I like this place. It's enjoyable, and yeah, I mean, it's kind of a crazy conference, huh? Like just thousands of people just kind of walking around and doing stuff.
Were you here last year?
I was not.
We checked it out. It's busier this year than it was. Yeah, the first day they actually gave passes out to all the university students for really cheap. So the first day was slammed last year. But the second day is definitely busier than it was last year. So and a lot of good talent. We got you to come out, so. Tell me a little bit about what you got going on, what the book you got on the go.
Yeah, so this is my latest book, Fiat Ruins Everything. It's all about how fiat money has ruined all kinds of stuff, from science to education to art to morals and families and children and the world, really, warfare, welfare state, and all kinds of stuff like that.
I want to ask your opinion on something, being, a developer and obviously involved in Bitcoin for quite some time. The migration to pools averaging out payouts to make things smooth and cutting out anomaly blocks with payouts. What's your thoughts on that and that progression where they've kind of removed a lot of what I see is the fun part of mining Bitcoin and made it very not But
Well-
risk adverse, I guess, is a better word for it.
Yeah, it used to be way more decentralized, at least in the early days, because each person that ran sort of did it. But then the hash rate got so high that there was a very good chance of just getting zero for a long period of time. So to reduce the variance, pools developed. I mean, that's the basic history. But the thing about pools was they controlled the templates, and that's how it's been for a very long time. And it's only recently with Stratum V2 that we're starting to get that decentralization again, even at the pool level, where each participant can have their own template, and that of course means that once a block is found, then it gets propagated, and the pool doesn't control what transactions go in and so on. So it removes sort of that central point of failure of transaction censorship or whatever, and that's a good thing. But I mean, it evolved the way it did because everyone was acting rationally, economically speaking.
Yeah, but I mean, it sets up a lot of the pools for failure potentially. I mean, if you remove some of the risk for the miner for sure, but if you sit and have a really bad run, bad transaction fees plus not finding blocks, but you still consistently need to pay those shares. I mean, we've seen it in the past, pools going bankrupt as a result. Do you not think that that's bad for the industry in terms of setting up for some of those catastrophic failures like that?
I mean, if such things happen, then they kind of deserved it. They need to have another payout scheme or something like that. And this is, I think, part of what Ocean's trying to do is they're just paying out like the original pool stuff.
And we were just talking with Bob about Oceans, which I'm a big fan of.
Rather than like just sort of renting hash power, and then they pay out based on like the hashes that have been submitted and so on. I think that's the right way to go. And as more of the individual miners, you could go for sort of like the steady payout, but less total amount, or a little more volatility and a greater total amount. When you have savings, the latter makes more sense. When you're in debt, the former makes more sense because you want certainty. So in a sense, the problem is at least related somewhat to the fact that you have debt facilities from fiat money.
I'll stick on block formation for one more second, just on the pool side of it. What is your I can imagine what your stance is. I'd like to hear you vocalize it in terms of these off-chain transaction fees where huge amounts are getting paid to certain companies to form blocks, and that never becomes part of the transaction pool and such. What is your thoughts, and where do you stand on that?
I mean, it's allowed by the protocol. Now, whether or not that's like really moral is another whole question, especially because the pools that are doing this tend to keep the profits for themselves and not pay out their miners. So in a sense, the miners that are contributing their hash rate are really renting it to a larger entity and so on. I don't think that's healthy for the ecosystem necessarily, and eventually people will figure it out. In the long run, all the incentives are such that like the stupid stuff goes to zero, and the smart stuff goes up higher. So I wouldn't worry too much.
Cool. You can find your book everywhere, Amazon and the like, or where?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's on BitcoinMagazine.com. You could even buy it from my own website, Fiat Ruins Everything, if you want a signed copy and so on.
Awesome. Cool. Jimmy, thanks so much for making time.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. All right, Martin.
Hi, Scott. Nice to see
Congrats
you.
on another amazing show.
Thank you.
How's this week been for you?
Long, I would say.
Yeah.
But no, it's so enjoyable, to be honest. Like we worked for a year. All of this was in the visualizations, in the sheets, in charts, Google Docs, in our minds. And now finally, we can touch it, we can experience it, and seeing all the people around, seeing you being here with the wonderful pod, it like makes me proud of the whole team and everyone around.
Yeah, you guys did an amazing job. How do you feel? You know the numbers better than I do. It seems like there's more people than last year. How do we do compared to last year?
I still do not have like final numbers, but it's around 25% more than last year. So we are somewhere around 7.5 thousand.
Wow,
Yeah,
amazing.
Kind of.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What were, thus far, some of the standout things that have happened at the show for you, whether it be speakers or, I don't know, anything that's gone out at the show that's been a standout for you?
Yeah, for me it's hard to get really focused on a stage. There are like still tons of things in my mind, so I cannot really stay focused. So I skip all of them.
Yeah.
And I was hanging here in the expo section with partners and mostly chatting with people around, trying to understand what can be improved for the next year. And I'm really excited, really, of the people around. And it's like really familiar energy here.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic. So last year you told us of the dates for the next year's show. Do you know them for 2025?
Yeah, let me spoil it, yeah.
Okay.
So the dates are set. It's from 19th till 21st June, again here. We are still not sure about the floor plan, about the setup. We are thinking about to grow.
Yep.
But we will see. A bit too early to say.
We were thinking we might even bring more of these next year and set something big up outside, but we'll talk about that after the show.
Let's do it, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so you heard those dates, guys, Martin, and to your brother as well, the co-founder here at BTC Prague. 2024 in the books. We're ready for BTC 2025.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. All right, I'm here with Dominic Galich. Did I get it right?
Exactly.
From Banox, out of Finland, the winner of the Digital Shovel MiniPod. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Pleasure. We've been talking previously about getting some MiniPods in your hands, so this worked out really well. You can see the unit, how it transports. Nice thing is, in this form factor, we can pick it up, throw it on a truck. All we need is a forklift, no crane, really easy to get it to your site. Can you tell me a little bit about Banox, about your project, and what you guys got on the go?
Yeah, so we are obviously Bitcoin miners, and so our main focus is to build turnkey solutions for B2B clients, and also we do a lot of self-mining. So we have now the expansion in Finland, and we would like to have a complete product, which is good, and I think that's the best choose, yeah.
Awesome. There's been a lot of talk throughout the show about how hard it is to mine in Europe. Would you say that's kind of limited to certain countries, and Finland, Iceland still have a competitive advantage up there? Like, are you still getting competitive rates, or is it a unique situation you guys have? Without spilling your secret sauce.
Yeah, sure, no, I'm
special.
open. So it's a little bit different. So we are kind of like trading the energy market there. So we don't have like PPAs like the miners in Texas or Canada or somewhere else. So we buy the electricity on the futures market, and then we participate in all these demand flexibility and demand response markets. There are several, and with this strategy we can bring our costs down basically to, I'd say, now US rates, so it's very competitive, yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we're going to have to make a video in Finland when we put some of these on the ground.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, guys, let's get ready for the after party BTC 2024. Happy to give away the MiniPod. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks, Scott.
Cheers. 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 To Digital Shovel coming to Europe, finally. All right, guys, that's it. BTC Prague 2024 in the books. What an amazing week. Got in here on Friday. No, we got in here Saturday. Flew out Friday, came in Saturday. Check out this amazing city. Our second time being at the show. We absolutely love it. For the first time ever, we flew a Digital Shovel MiniPod here from Canada, gave it away to one lucky winner in Finland, had an amazing time. Big shout out to Martin Kuchař and the entire team here at BTC Prague. They did an absolutely amazing job. We can't wait to be back here in BTC 2025. The dates right down here below me. I had a lovely interview with Martin earlier, filled us in on those, and we will be back. For now, we're gonna go back and enjoy the after party. Thanks to the entire Digital Shovel crew and the entire team for putting on a wicked event. Sing's first event overseas. Nico, Nero, Alex behind the camera, the entire team, the lovely models we had working with us for the event. BTC Prague, we will be back. We love you. We're out.